I haven't started yet. You're already scared, Honorable Governor. Honorable Speaker, sir, I thank you for letting me speak today. I want to thank the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights with respect to this particular review of the 2014 General Election Joint Report by the Fijian Electoral Commission and the Supervisor of Elections. Just to let the Honorable Tambuya know, the report is on the review of the 2014 General Election Joint Report by the Fijian Electoral Commission and the Supervisor of Elections. It's not about the Supervisor of Elections per se. So attacking him personally with respect to something that happened just now.
Order. Forget about the other side, just...
I think we've all heard the Honourable Speaker with respect to staying relevant. Honourable Speaker, so I want to address a few things with respect to today's motion. Honourable Speaker, the 2014 general election marked the country's return to parliamentary governance. But more than that, sir, it actually invigorated the custom of voting and electing representatives into the highest office of the land. So in 2014, Fiji not only had to prepare its citizens to vote, it also had to prepare itself. So we had to prepare ourselves to hold an election under a new electoral system. And we had to implement processes to register thousands of voters and ensure the dissemination of information that would not only enable but also motivate a voter to cast his or her ballot in a non-compulsory voting system. So that's quite a phenomenal task, sir, when you have to motivate, especially against the tide of non-motivation that actually comes from Sodelpa when it comes election time, sir. They go through this process of discouraging people, etc., and then they come here and complain about the voter turnout wasn't good enough. The Fijian Elections Office, Honourable Speaker, is an independent body that was established in on the 28th of March 2014. And it was given 6 months since its formation to prepare and take the country into a general election in a new electoral system. So the modified open list proportional representation system. So I hear the members on the other side knocking this particular system, but this system has given you 21 seats. Why are you knocking it? It's given you an opportunity to sit here and make your voices heard. Why are you knocking it? The point is, if you want 30, you might have to work hard enough, you have to beat us first. Sir, the point is that just for a moment, if it so happened, and God forbid it does, if it so happened that they were sitting on this side of the house, they would not utter one word about this particular thing. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't, not at all. One of the most important elections in the history of this country was the 2014 election.
Thank God they're not on this side.
And I'll tell you why.
Order.
Sir, I'll tell you why this 2014 election was such a historical election for our country, sir. The whole country formed a single constituency, and it was based on the principle of one person, one vote, one value, and that's what was adopted, sir. And that's the freest, fairest elections that this country has ever had, sir. There was actually groundwork that was needed, particularly to streamline the election operations to reflect this particular new voting system. The FEO, Honourable Speaker, sir, in 2014 registered 591,101 voters and recorded a turnout of 84.6%. And Minister Bala is correct, sir. Only 0.75% of the votes cast were actually invalid, and which was a record low for an election in Fiji, sir. So we did it correctly, sir. Over 10,000 Fijians were actually involved in and delivered that particular election. And we need to take our hat off to all of those people who gave us that election. The 2014 election, general election, and this is so important, sir, the 2014 general election was deemed a credible election by the MOG. It was the MOG that declared, and I quote, the outcome of the 2014 general election broadly represented the will of the Fijian voters, sir. The conditions were in place for Fijians to exercise their vote freely, sir. Now, you can't tell me that that's not enough for us. It is. And of course, there are things that they will ask us to change. We will do. There are recommendations that have already been attended to. And I'll address those, sir. Now, following the 2014 general election, Honourable Speaker, for the first time in Fiji, the election management body had remained operational in between elections, which meant that voter registration was continuously done right up until the day the writ for the 2018 general election was actually issued. Now, because of that, sir, we had 637,527 Fijians who were registered to vote in 2018. The FEO was adequately funded also since 2014, sir, to take on new innovations and further streamline its processes as per international best practices. International best practices in elections to be implemented in Fiji. And in line with international best practices, sir, the FEO actually developed its 5-year strategic plan, 2015 to 2019, and this plan presented a comprehensive operational plan that resulted in the realization of all the innovations that we currently experience when it comes to elections in Fiji. We took it to a new level, sir. Amongst its top innovations was the FEO Results app, a first of its kind, which allowed the public direct access to the 2018 general elections in real time, sir. The app was actually developed in-house and showed the results by party, by candidate, and polling venue. In fact, the app is still available and comes in very handy. Moreover, sir, the FEO actually launched its website in 2017. Now, and that was actually to improve information dissemination to stakeholders. And the most significant change was the introduction of disability-friendly features to promote inclusivity and greater engagement. First of its kind, sir. The users with visual impairments can actually increase the size of the font or even enable an automated readout of the text on the particular page, sir. In 2018, sir, the FEO introduced its 10-year election model. And this module introduces high school students to elections and gives them a hands-on experience on the voting process. And this is the first comprehensive program at school level in the region and will definitely deliver results in the upcoming general election, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, to make it easier for votes, the FEO actually had launched the 1-500 call center in 2018. And this is a free platform which voters could call to ask questions relating to elections. And call center staff were actually trained to answer frequently asked questions. And there was also the 1-500 SMS text platform, which was activated in February 2018. The service was available free of cost, and it helped voters find their particular voting venue. Now, Honourable Speaker, sir, it is my firm belief that the foresight of the government to invest in the continuous operations of the Fijian Elections Office has actually produced noteworthy results. One just has to take out the 2006 General Election Observer Mission reports to draw some simple analogies on the vast improvement in the capabilities of the office and now, sir. So, in its report, following the 2018 general elections, the MOG actually noted that the Fijian Elections Office prepared for the election thoroughly, implementing a long-term strategy of improvement through the electoral cycle. 2018 process was actually transparent and credible overall, and the outcome broadly represented the will of the Fijian voters. And, you know, that's exactly what's been expressed, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, we keep talking about they somehow seem to insinuate that everything is skewed towards Fiji first. It's not, sir. There is a level playing field for everybody. The rules that they're actually talking about, and there's no use laughing about it, Honorable Gafoka, it's not a different set of rules for us and a different set of rules for you. It absolutely isn't. It's the same set of rules that we are governed by. It's the same set of rules that we actually live by. It's the will of the people that has put us here. And it's the will of the people, right, that's actually come out because we've got a phenomenal system. So you can't stand here and actually complain and say that, oh, you know, this is unrepresentative and it's not right and everything is skewed. And I want to correct some of the numbers that have actually come out. And I know Gavoko's actually percentages were all wrong. Now the voter turnout in 2018, Honourable Speaker, was 71.92%. The voter turnout in 2014 was 84.6%. The voter turnout in 2006 was 64%. It's not all skewed and wrong. It's wrong. And if I could also break down the numbers for you, in 2018, the total votes cast were 458,532. In 2014, the total votes cast was 500,078. Now, I'll tell you why in a minute. In 2006, it was 307,004. Of that, sir, if we go back to 2018, the registration, as I had said earlier, was 637,527. The registration in 2014 was 591,000. Now, if they say that there was less voter count, and we can see that there is, they have to also look back at their own processes. They're the ones who people at the end of the day with respect to when voting comes around. We don't. There's a proper process that goes on with the elections office. There's educational programs, etc., that go out to the communities. We do it, but if they seem to see that there aren't numbers for them, is that our fault? It's not. It's theirs. It's their own problem. It's you create the monster at the end of the day when you're asking people to say, you know, certain things and you're not telling them the truth at the end of the day. This is actually what happens. You can't turn around and just because you're sitting on the other side blame us. We are not to blame. Let's be real. We are not to blame. It's you. It's your policies that put you in that particular seat. What policies? You go look at your own policies. Don't ask me. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that actually gets done. We have the FEO doing community visits. So in terms of education, FEO has actually gone and done a lot of community visits so that people can be aware. You know, Honourable Gyonim Baravi also raised some issues regarding fake news, etc. There have been amendments. The SOE has actually got amendments in place and then to remove fake news and breaches during the blackout. And this is actually good. You know, we do realize that when there are issues that need to be resolved and taken care of, we do. Now, just in conclusion, sir, at the end of the day, in its report following the 2018 general election, the Multinational Observer Group again said the Fijian Elections Office prepared for the election thoroughly, implementing a long-term strategy of improvement throughout the electoral cycle. The 2018 process was transparent and credible overall, and the outcome broadly represented the will of the Fijian voters. Sir, once a Multinational Observer Group gives you a tick-off, sir, I think everybody should take note. You have to take note. That's an independent body. It's completely independent. We have no influence, nothing over it. But no, obviously it's not good enough for them because it doesn't align with the way they actually think. On this note, sir, also we want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank all our donor partners who actually supported the Fiji during the 2014 general election. I also extend our sincere gratitude to the CEO leads of the Multinational Observer Group. It indeed was one of the largest observer missions at any election. And I also want to thank all the election officials and the Electoral Commission and also want to join what Minister Bala said and thank the Supervisor of Elections for the extremely hard work that he's actually put in, and the entire the elections team for 2014 and for 2018. They've actually done the nation proud. They've put us on a firm footing. They've made sure that they've done a whole lot of hard work, and we acknowledge the work that they've done. I want to acknowledge that the committee also, sir, they have found no contentious issues to report, and I hope that this parliamentary report will put to rest the many unsubstantiated, politically motivated rumors and claims about the 2014 general election. And I just wanted to point it out briefly too, that this particular report, sir, is a bipartisan report. And they've come up and said there's no qualifications, and the signatures on it here are not just Fiji First members. The signatures are also from the other side, so they've sanctioned it. There's no use coming in and saying things contrary to this report at the end of the day. Nothing came out. There are no recommendations as such, and there are members of the opposition on this particular party and on this particular report, so who have signed off. It's a bipartisan report. I don't understand how they actually think. So again, sir, it is what everybody needs to be reminded of is it is everyone's duty to build confidence in constitutional officers, sir. We do it on a daily basis, and the findings by the standing committee actually vindicates any claims and allegations of wrongdoing by any person. And I think it's not fair that we start raising things that are not in this report, like the Honourable Tambuya has done. She ought not to do that. It's for another forum. Maybe you ought to write to him, ask him. But I want to thank Honourable Speaker for allowing me to stand to support the motion on the floor, sir. Thank you, sir.
Prime Minister, you have the floor.